got you on my mind? Why I got you on my mind? Why I got you on my mind?
Kings, queens, and beautiful people who watch this channel. Today, I'm going to be reacting to the video, Is It Time to Get Over Slavery? Black Liberals versus Conservatives. Initially, why it intrigues me is because I do watch quite a lot of Jubilee's videos, and those tend to interest me, and if you're wondering what any sounds are in the background, that's just the dryer, so I'm going to give this a watch, see how it goes. I think it'd be interesting, to say the least, so I'm going to give it a play.
My black conservatives on the right.
Say that again.
Liberals on the left, conservatives to the right. If you agree with the prompt, you'll walk forward. If not, you'll stay back. People need to get over slavery.
Slavery. Well, I wouldn't say like...
I guess I started off. I mean, we all know that slavery was a terrible thing.
Yes.
It was an atrocity.
Mhm.
It was a human tragedy. But we can't just be talking about slavery every day. It ended in 1865. This is 2020. We got to press forward. Our ancestors, they went through a lot. They died for us to be able to be here right now.
Yes.
In the best country on planet Earth.
Yes.
Take advantage of what we have right now,
Right.
rather than looking at the past and saying, oh, well, what was me because of slavery?
Right.
You know, there have been other groups of people in slavery all throughout the world. They can't just stay in that state. So people, a lot of times, they stay right in their place, and others are being able to pass them because mentally they've moved on while others have not.
They constantly use slavery to put them in a victim mentality. We can't accomplish this because you enslaved my ancestors. Slaves were taught English. Slaves were taught how to become managers and secretaries and cooks and chauffeurs and how to build water tanks and all sorts of things. We're here now.
Okay, I want to see what the liberal says now, because I might say something I want to interject.
All right. I really think, honestly, colonialism didn't teach us anything because we came from a society that was living and running. So I don't think we need to get over slavery. I think we need to talk about the repercussions of it, like generational trauma, like the system that exists because of it. I don't think we should use it as a crutch
There you go.
as for ambivalence, or yeah, to hold yourself back, you know what I mean? I think it is a mindset as well.
I think one of the most dangerous aspects of generational advancement is misinformation. I think a lot of young people, especially young men, especially young African American men and women, often have questions about why things are the way they are. Why do I get treated this way? Why has my mother gone through this? Or why has my grandmother gone through this? Well, it all comes down to the repercussions of slavery. And so I think that just getting over something, I think, is just absolutely ridiculous. And so when I hear people say that, especially fellow African American people and friends, I think it's ridiculous. Just getting over something as serious as that, I think just plays into the whole idea of it just didn't matter anyway.
I
So
kind
how
of
long do we
agree.
continue to harp on it? How long do we continue forever?
Well, I
Do
think-
we never get over?
I think you mean educate. Educate us.
Education is fine. That's no history is one thing. To not get over things
Use
is
it
something
as a
else.
crutch.
You can't minimize
You can't get
slavery.
credit.
Who says that though?
But I listened to both of you, and I even thought maybe I'll stay out of this one.
No.
But the notion of ending the discussions on slavery, they haven't begun. We just got the lynching memorial in Alabama. We just got
Yeah.
the African American Smithsonian in DC. You cannot go to Germany and walk more than a mile without seeing some sort of tribute to the Holocaust, some sort of apology, some sort of marker. The United States does not acknowledge slavery in that way. We are beginning to discuss, but we can't get over it until white folks acknowledge it.
Being black.
Interesting. I guess the thing is, the way I've always seen it in regards to slavery is that with any major event that affects a group of people, its influence is never just going to completely fade away either. As much as, yes, colonialism and people who've been colonized by different groups, wherever country you come from, have learned certain things, maybe like English or whatever, it still had its negative effects in that regard. I can't disregard it either. I think it should always be a learning tool how to advance and better oneself, so I guess I kind of agree with both. And I guess depending where you live, I think most people probably have an awareness of the transatlantic slave issue. Like, to be honest, slavery's always been one of those things that have existed amongst cultures and histories for as long as people have been owning and selling one another, so here nor there.
Flag should not influence a political view.
Again, I'm not American, so this is very specific to that.
So, yeah, being black should not really influence how you think politically, because what's good for us as black folks should be the same as everybody else. It should be from the point of view of me being an American and wanting the best for me in America.
I will vote for the best person that is running. And so far, it's been, in my situation, it's been Republicans, conservative Republicans.
I vote based on the issues that I care about, and the
That's
issues
fair.
that I care about stem from my personal experiences. As someone that
That's
was
most people, I
raised
think.
in a conservative household, I have different views on certain things. I have different views on pro-life and pro-choice issues. I have different views on economic issues. I have different views on trade and foreign policy.
As would I.
I don't think the skin color should have anything to do with a political view.
I would say I definitely don't vote for candidates just because they're black.
I wouldn't
Carson
either.
could never get my vote. However, I
Same.
do feel very much a part of a group. I feel like I have a shared history with black people and descendants of slaves in this country. And so I do not vote just based on what's okay for me.
I think people should vote for what's in the best interest of them. And I don't think that skin color should dictate on what your interest should be based on skin color.
Did you ever vote your religious belief
I
Yes.
don't personally, but
on abortion?
Have I ever voted my religious beliefs on abortion?
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
And what's your religious belief on abortion?
We're not even talking about abortion. Not
yeah, that's kind of,
It's black.
yeah.
That's
We
black.
have nothing to do with this conversation.
The majority of abortions are done through the black race.
Well, I
So,
want to ask you.
You should
You
be
said
interested in answering that question.
really quick. I want to ask you because you said you wanted to leave slavery behind. You wanted
Yeah.
to get over it. But
I didn't say forget it.
You said to get over it. I'm saying
Get over it. Let's not forget it.
But you're a
And
Christian.
I still say teach it.
You're a Christian.
Yes, I am.
And where do you think we got that?
Got what?
Christianity. Sweetie.
Christianity goes all the way back to the beginning of time.
So where did we learn it though?
Where we learned it? Well, the Egyptians had religions. The Jewish taught
No, where
religion.
did where
You
did
mean
the
in
African
America?
diaspora?
In America.
Your lineage.
Slavery! Sorry.
They learned it from slavery. The slaves also brought
We gotta
religion
get over
with
it.
them when they came, so it was a mixture of everybody's
Yeah, but that
religion.
tended to be
But
suppressed
they
without
learned how
that.
to read. So what they learned how to read was the Holy Bible.
Oh, we knew,
And either you're going to believe the Holy
we knew
Bible
how
or
to
you're
read.
not.
We knew how to read.
I believe you know how to read what? Arabic?
Most
What?
people
Because it
can't.
wasn't English. That's my statement. We're in America now. Everybody should speak English.
Interesting that lady said, but that's for the most part that same Christianity has been used as justification as colonialism to colonize other people and to have slaves. So it comes from somewhere. Everything comes from somewhere.
Is that a hot take? Jay, we gotta speak English in
where did-
America?
I support the Black Lives Matter movement.
I haven't really been keeping up with Black Lives Matter since about 2015 or so. From what I can tell, there is issues in regards to racism and police brutality. Anyway, I don't know, it's kind of hard to say because the way I've perceived Gardaí here versus in the US is very different. Like, I'm generally not scared of a guard if he comes back to... There just isn't the same level of, like, apprehension, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, that's a guard, you know what I mean? Also, most of our guards don't even have guns, so... Interesting.
Well, I am a public defender for 17 years. I work in the criminal justice system. I see a lot of the behind the scenes when it comes to police brutality. So I'm a strong Black Lives Matter supporter.
Grew up in Compton. My parents were born and raised there. Even as a child, when they had the riots for Rodney King, we had to move to Hampton. Yeah, it was something that it was the first time I knew that it was wrong the way the police, how they police the towns. It was the first time I got a sense of injustice.
Hmm.
I'm just interested, since you identify as conservative, I was surprised to see you come over and how that lines up with your political views, or maybe just what your definition of conservative is.
Since the movement started, I've been torn for far too long. We've had the police on the right, and we've had Black lives, the African American community and the Black community on the left, and it's just constant fighting. And so I support the movement. I support the agenda. I support the mission. I just have not always supported the way that mission agenda was being carried out.
That makes sense. I guess I tend to take the more pacifistic, non-violent approach to everything, and like some people are more radical. That's with any group, though. I feel like same with certain feminists. Like I tend to be more pacifistic about it. Other people less so. So it's an issue. Want to hear what the
I agree
opposition
with the
says.
fact that Black lives do matter. I think
Yes.
we all agree on that. That's
Yes.
something that nobody's going to deny. But it's the tactics. I
Yes.
don't like the tactics. I mean, I saw it in 2015, the Freddie Gray situation. Also with Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. You burning neighborhoods down, you
Right.
tearing things apart.
I guess it's not a
People who
conducive
will
way to do
say,
anything.
well, the percentage of blacks that are being killed is high. I said, where do you get that from? Well, we see it on TV all the time. But the ones who are not shown on television is in a much higher bracket of being shot quicker than a black man would.
Well, I'm
And that's
confused when
shown
she
with
said
the
that.
FBI statistics.
Black Lives Matter as an organization is about peaceful protest and is about bringing awareness. There's no Black Lives Matter organizer who's ever looted a CVS. There's no Black Lives Matter organizer who has ever advocated for violence. So in terms of saying, look, I see somebody black on the TV who is upset about the murder of a young black male, that's not the same as saying Black Lives Matter is therefore responsible. Likewise, I'm not sure which FBI statistics, but African American men are definitely the most killed by police. It's a very specific statistic. Police aren't killing white folks like that.
We can't just leave it
As
there
far
and
as the
say,
stats I
well,
read, it
we're
isn't.
being killed more, therefore it's a problem with race. Why are we being killed more by the police? Is there a
Because we're
specific-
over policed.
What does
There's
that
more
mean?
police in our communities.
What does that mean?
It means that the ratio, the number of police, at any given time where I live, I am going to see police officers every hour. I'm going to see patrol vehicles in a way that I don't see when I'm in predominantly white neighborhoods. Statistically, and this is actually my line of research, black youth are seen as 4 to 5 years older. We're seen as scary. We're seen as intimidating.
I mean,
So
those
that's where you
stereotypes
see
do come
situations
somewhere.
like Tamir Rice. You see police reacting quickly with lethal force
Yeah, the
because
gun looked like it was real though, you know.
he was, but there was no one there. Let's say he had a real gun. Why couldn't the police say stop? He was killed in less than 15 seconds.
I saw that video. To be fair, it was
with
pretty
a
quick.
BB gun.
But
No,
it
he
did
was
look
not.
Like when I had a BB gun when I was that age, and it looked real too. And you know, my parents told me, do not go outside with that. And I'm in the all black area. Do not go outside with that and point it at people because it looked real. Why do you think they did? Why do you think they did that?
Hopefully, because they recognize that as a black boy, you're going to be targeted.
More so
We
than
could do a whole podcast on that one right there. I mean, I wanted to go in.
yeah.
Barack Obama did good things for black Americans.
Like, I don't really know from that perspective because a lot of people generally criticized him for not doing enough in regards to the whole police brutality issue.
Obama didn't do much for black Americans or for Americans in general. But what he did do was one very important thing that I got to give him credit for. And that was to say that you can be black and be the president of the United States. This whole excuse of, well, I can't do anything because I'm black and slavery. I'm not trying to hear it no more. You had the first black president, the black wife, the black kids, all that good stuff for 2 terms. Not once. It wasn't a fluke. 2 terms.
Obama has done more damage to the African American race than any of the other presidents.
I disagree with that assertion. I mean, the first few presidents owned slaves, and quite a few of them, even as far back as the 20th century, weren't exactly the most pro-black individuals. I understand relevant time. I can't be applying my own moral view of what people were like to now, but he can't really be by far the worst either, because generally there's other ones that are even racist, even for their time. So it's just me.
He came into the presidency lying. He lied to our faces to get elected.
So he's a politician. Sorry, that sounds so bad, but like, yeah, that's what politicians do.
Then once in, he disavowed. He just forgot about the blacks, first of all of us. Obama didn't do anything but an abomination to us, to this whole nation.
And maybe I'm being a bit judgmental because she's wearing a Trump hat, but I don't really see Trump doing much for the black community either. Granted, that's just me. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, I agree with what you said. You know, he did a lot of damage. And the main thing that I remember from his term was when he had Black Lives Matter in the White House while Ferguson was happening, while it was happening. Hey, you guys are doing a great job out there.
Whoa.
You guys are doing fantastic. Didn't say, hey, tone down the rhetoric a little bit maybe because you got some problems. Nope, you guys are doing a great job. Keep on going.
So Obama was a representation of something important, but also I think the whole thing is a big puppet show, and you know I wasn't really
Amen,
sure.
brother.
I'm never really sure what's going on behind the scenes, so we don't know what kind of deals are being made.
I do think that there was people that benefited from some policies that Obama put in place,
Homosexuals.
and I also believe that there were
Also out of nowhere.
did not benefit. And so I think that there are obviously good things about the Obama presidency, and there's things that I disagree with the Obama presidency.
We gotta educate you, young brother.
Educate me?
Yes.
Did you go to college?
Yes.
Where'd you go?
Southern University in Pepperdine.
What'd you study?
Political science, civil enforcement, social studies. Social studies is I teach in social science, masters.
It shows.
That sounded like a race.
Should accept LGBT
Sorry, that sounded like such a dance. It's like, it shows. Like,
plus rights.
I would say yes. Granted, I'm also not very religious, so maybe that's the other
I'm
aspect.
not only a philosophical conservative, but I'm also a religious conservative. And I believe that God made everyone in his image. And I also believe that we as Christians aren't people to judge. And so who are we, or who is anyone, to deny someone their rights as a person based off of what their sexual orientation is, or how they identify, or the lifestyle that they choose to live?
You know, I'm a part of the LGBT community. I'm transgender, so I was born female.
I did know that.
So I'm male. I'm male. Yeah, it was an interesting road, even getting my family to understand, you know, who I was at times. So I think it was like they didn't want me, for lack of better terms, to have another cross to bear, which was what they felt like it was another burden or condition that would make me less than. But really, intrinsically, like, we're all worthy.
Of love and respect, yeah.
Okay. Human rights is one thing. Sexual rights is a whole nother thing.
Okay.
The majority of the black community are religious.
Yes.
When it goes against their beliefs, yeah, no, it shouldn't happen. And gluttony is part of the human race. People glutton too much. And LGBTXYZ, whatever,
LGBT
they're
plus.
glutton.
All right, now my viewpoint.
I mean, arguably, everyone can be gluttonous regardless of sexual, orientation or not. I don't know. Fuck.
The thing about LGBT rights, what are we talking about exactly? I want to be very specific with this particular thing because when I hear that, I'm thinking about Dwayne Wade's son. He's 12 years old. Do you think a 12-year-old boy should be able to call himself transgender? Is that what we're going to do? Do we think that we should?
I mean, I think in a social sense, you're allowed to socially transition younger at that age because at that point, at least if they're post-puberty or past a certain point, and if it's just a phase, they'll probably grow out of it at that rate, you know what I mean? Because really, socially transitioning doesn't have any physical effects so much as maybe awkwardness, I don't know. If that's the case, granted, I don't know really in terms of transitioning for people under the age of 18, since most of the people I know who've transitioned have generally been either my age 21 or older.
Have 4 and 5-year-old children on puberty blockers, hormone blockers, because
They
think
don't generally put it that young. It's generally if you're starting to show signs of puberty that they put them on, or you've been diagnosed with gender dysphoria. But in saying that, I guess there's a whole discussion about children transitioning anyway.
at that age they're transgender. You can't even get a tattoo under the age of 18. You can't smoke cigarettes. You can't drink beer. If somebody wants to be gay, trans, whatever, as an adult, that's fine. My uncle, my favorite uncle, died at age was gay. That was my dog, 100%. If you're gay, that's your business. I don't care. That's you. That's not me. That's you. We're talking about LGBT rights. What do we mean?
I mean, I think it's the right to exist. Dwayne Wade's daughter knows exactly who she is, and
12.
And she doesn't.
right, and there's definitely research that says that anybody under 25 years old, that your brain is not fully
Fully
formed.
developed, yeah.
The thing is, I knew when I was small, right? As soon as I could talk, I was pretty much telling my parents, like, these were the things that I was feeling and what I knew about myself. When you start to self-actualize, you start at that age. You start at the early ages. So
You can't, yeah.
look at, like, psychosomatics of children. They start to voice and self-actualize in toddler stages. We're just saying, opening it up. If they're voicing themselves, okay. You're voicing yourself, and as a parent, I just give you a platform to flourish and bloom as you do. And then when you're an adult, if that's the decision the parent wants to make, you can do what you want, sure. That's the decision my parents said.
But you kind of say what he said.
So you kind of like on the same page with me. Like
That's
somebody,
this is what my parents did. You do what you want when you're out of the house. But the thing is, if my parents had the resources and the education that they do now, they would have probably allowed me to. They would have offered me a decision that would have helped me.
It also depends on the country. I think the average age is about
But you
16 or
can't say
17
that
to have
because it
hormones.
didn't happen.
It didn't, but it can now because we have
There's a
those resources
possibility.
now. We have those resources now.
You
There
think they
would have
would?
been if they had the resources that they have now, definitely. All you gotta do is listen. You just listen.
I have felt excluded from the black
Occasionally, yeah. Well, not really so
Probably
much from the
first
community, but
aspect of being excluded from the black community is by the way I talk. So I was adopted to a Caucasian family. I was raised around in a completely different culture than what most African American people are raised in or around. So the black
Probably,
community
yeah.
is saying, look, you don't believe like us, you don't think like us, you don't vote like us, so you're not one of us.
I felt excluded as well, with queerness, transness, when people get to know me and learn that, then they're just like, oh yeah, I can't be doing all that gay shit, blah blah. Like you hear a lot of different stuff, Being anything doesn't make you any less black.
I've been conservative. Friends that I had coming up in the black community, people that I know from just being out and around in Virginia, some of them kind of turn their back on you, or you want to support Trump, you hate black folks, all this, that, and the third. Now I feel like some of that's kind of going away because a person like me being a black Trump supporter is less of a novelty at this particular point. Now it's kind of like a normal thing.
yeah.
We're not all the same. We're not a monolith. Everybody have their own. We are their own people.
We're a diverse group of people. I mean, and I play hockey. So a lot of people are like, man, black people don't do that, man. Come on, man. Black people don't do that. I'm like, hey, man, black people do
No, we
everything,
can't do,
man.
man.
So
We do it all.
I've never been outside of or excluded from my race. I'm cool with everybody in my race, and I'm cool with everybody in other races. I ran for political office. I've been member of Park Mesa Heights Neighborhood Council.
Did you win?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. I represented Hyatt Park.
I wanted to say something. Even though I have felt excluded before, black people in my life have been the most welcoming, loving, giving people that I've witnessed, regardless of, my background as well. So there's been two ends of the spectrum for sure.
The reason why I came here all the way from Pennsylvania to do this is to show the world that all of us, regardless of our skin color or the way we think politically, we are so diverse.
Yeah.
We're so diverse. Just because I identify as a conservative doesn't mean I'm agree with you or agree with you. Just because you identify as a liberal doesn't mean you're going to disagree with me on everything.
Exactly.
We found ourselves
Agreeing, yeah.
with a lot today.
Common ground is
Good ground. I think this is such a nice episode.
That's it for today.
I thought that was a really nice episode. I mean, they were disagreeing at points, and even I kind of voiced that. But I thought it was one of the nicer episodes. Like, I can see that they actually were communicating a lot with one another, and it wasn't getting too much of just sort of, I dislike you, or I like you, etc., etc. It's great. It was a really good episode. Anyways, tell me what you think, and thank you for watching.